Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Derek Campbell here with another episode of DC with the Call. And we're just going to do a quick rundown here of the episode, and we're going to just go over the Chiefs draft picks real quick. They recently made a trade too, and then give a little bit of an outlook for their off season this year. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the Royals here and how their season is started. And then we're going to take a look into a preview game for Saturday, and that will be the call that I will be giving on Saturday. And then I'm looking to also do a little bit with UFC and maybe some paintball matches too, trying to spread my wings here and maybe test out some sports, other different sports to talk about potentially, and kind of get into those later on maybe the fifth episode or later, depending on what I can find for stuff for you guys to listen to. But getting this episode started with taking a look at the Chiefs 2022 NFL Draft. Like I said on last episode, they traded up to get Trent McDuffie, a cornerback from Washington in the first round. And then they had their original 30th pick for George Karlaftis, defensive end from Purdue. And like I said, I love those first two picks in the first round, getting defensive help. And then, like I said, they were going to end up getting a wide receiver, and they did in the second round. Sky Moore from Western Michigan, 5'10", 195, kind of the same build as Tyreek Hill, a little bit speed too, so kind of his replacement right there. And then the next three picks were back on the defensive side of thing, still in the second round with Brian Cook, a safety from Cincinnati, and then a linebacker, Leo Chenal from Wisconsin, and then another cornerback with Joshua Williams. And then in the fifth round, they took Darian Kinnard, a tackle from Kentucky. Then went back to a defensive back with Jalen Watson from Washington State. And then running back from Rutgers, Isaiah Pacheco. And then ending it here in the final pick at number 7, Nazeeh Johnson, a safety from Marshall. So kind of an overall good draft here by the Chiefs. I'd give it an A for them, since they focused on the defensive side of thing, and that's where we saw their biggest holes coming into this offseason, was that they needed the defensive help on the defensive line and secondary, mainly a cornerback and an edge rusher, and I think they might have found that in the Purdue defensive end. And then I like that they saw that they fixed and hopefully filled holes in the cornerback with a couple of picks there with Joshua Williams, Trent McDuffie, and then Jalen Watson also. And then potentially found Tyrann Mathieu's replacement in Brian Cook or Nazeeh Johnson, who Mathieu did end up signing with the Saints 3-year deal for $33 million. So that's a little sad. I thought we could have had a Reed Mathieu duo in the secondary, but Tyrann did not want to deal with the Chiefs anymore, but that's okay. Good for him. Moving on now. But like I said, I overall like the Chiefs draft this year and give them an A. Hopefully all the picks that they have in the first couple of rounds turn out well, and we see an improved defense coming into 2022 season. Also, schedule has not been released yet for the NFL for the 2022 season. So when that comes out, I will make sure to go over that and kind of talk about that. But also the Chiefs, though, did make a trade this past week, and they ended up trading with the Houston Texans again, and they picked up Lonnie Johnson Jr. for a 7th-round pick. So again, we're trying to fill that cornerback need that Chiefs are, and Johnson is a cornerback from Houston, 26 years old, out of Kentucky. He was a second-round pick with the Texans in 2019. Has played in 44 games with 19 starts. Has over 172 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 13 passes deflected. He's 6'2", 213. So I think this was a good trade for the Chiefs, trying to fix that need again at cornerback and add some depth too, and that side of the roster for the Chiefs. So I like that from them, and hopefully it pays off for them ending up in that trade. Taking a look now at the Kansas City Royals, who are off to a very slow start this year, under 500. Royals right now are sitting at 7-13, I think it is right now. We can check here real quick, though. Actually, the Royals are 8 and 15th. They're sitting in last right now in the AL Central with 8 wins, 15 losses. So a little bit of a slow start for them. Ended up taking a 10 to nothing loss Wednesday, May 4th to the Cardinals. Hit and miss with the young pitchers that we have in the rotation. Bubik, Daniel Lynch, Brady Singer still pretty young, so a little bit still trying to figure out our stride of our young starters. Zach Greinke though has been pretty good, off to a good start for him. He's only given up a couple of runs, so I like to see that from the 38-year-old veteran who's back in Kansas City after the Royals ended up drafting him. A little bit slow on our bats too. Um, not nobody's not really doing too hot right now, and a couple injuries too with Santana with an ankle. He was recently placed on the IL, and then Alberto Mondesi tore his ACL, so he's probably out the rest of the season, which you hate to see, but might eventually have to move on for Mondesi. Very injury prone these last couple of seasons, and Royals might want to see if they can shop him and potentially get a prospect or a veteran player for him. Would be my take on that. But otherwise, I think the Royals, though, historically, I've always had bad in April and May months to start the season, which is not good because you're usually off to a slow start and have to play catch up the rest of the season. But taking a look, though, at Bobby Witt Jr., number one prospect in the baseball on the Royals team, he recently just hit his first major league home run, and good for him. And he's batting around 250, I think he is right now. Yep, Bobby Witt is batting about 229 right now with Andrew Benintendi leading the team at 354, so I'd like to see that. Let's see here. Who else is Witt Merrifield off to a slow start, batting 151, but Edward Olivier is batting 364 with Cam Gallagher at 313, and then let's see what Salvador Perez is batting at here. He's batting 167, so a couple players below the Mendoza line, which is under 200. So, like I said, Royals usually off to a slow start at the beginning of the year. But Salvador Perez, though, does have five home runs to start the year, so I like to see that. And recently, like I said, on a little bit of a losing streak now. I think they've lost 3 or 4 straight after today's game that they had against St. Louis, and that puts them at 8 and 15, last in the AF Central, with the Minnesota Twins sitting in first in the Central at 15 and 9, Cleveland 10 and 12, 10 and 13 for the White Sox, and then Detroit at also 8 wins, 14 losses. And then other division leaders that stand out, the Angels 15 and 10, Yankees are at 18 and 6, and they're off to a hot start. They're like on a 12-game win streak right now. And the NL New York Mets also 18 and 8, Milwaukee 16 and 8, and then the Dodgers are 15 and 7. And I'll kind of conclude it here for the Royals. And now we're going to take a look here at our game that I'm looking to call on. Is this Saturday, Marlins at Padres will be a night game, and the Marlins are 12 and 11, while the Padres are 15 and 8, with Sean Manaea on the mound for the Padres, who's 2 and 2, 3.60 ERA with 30 strikeouts already, and then Pablo Lopez 3 and 1, 1.29 ERA with also 30 strikeouts for the Marlins starting on Sunday. And I'm gonna have to go with the Padres here on this one at home field. Advantage for them, and just better all-rounded team right now, the beginning of the season. And that's my team that I'm picking to win. And then I'll do another one here for runs. Kind of, I'd probably go with 7 total runs here for the game, around 7 or just over for the total runs right there. So there's my call with the Padres getting the win and a total of 7 runs between the both teams on the Miami and Padres game. And also a little bit, I'm going to be keeping track of how many I get right and how many I get wrong for my call. So that'll be a fun stat for you guys to tune into and check out for the record of that, how well I actually know what I'm talking about. So that will be good and interesting for you guys to take a look at. And then some other topics and sports that I'm looking into, potentially talking about and getting into are UFC on their fight nights. And then I've been recently getting interested in the paintball, so I might take a look at some paintballing competitions in Kansas City and the nation as a whole, which will be fun. And that's going to kind of wrap us up for today's episode. A little bit of a shorter one, just giving quick updates for the middle of the week and my call for Saturday. And we'll be back Sunday with another episode out Sunday. We'll probably get that one out hopefully in the morning sometime for you guys on Sunday. And then I'm hoping to do kind of the schedule that I'm looking to run for episodes is on Sunday and Wednesdays, potentially in about 2 a week. Maybe we'll see how that works out for me. And then just keep tuning in and listening here. Make sure you guys give the episode a like and make sure to subscribe to Red Top Video Productions YouTube page where you can find these, and also on Twitter under Red Top Video Productions. And again, I'm Derek Campbell, and this was DC with the Call.